Okay guys, so I'm sat inside a car with an electronic handbrake, and this is something I want to try and a bunch of people asked for. What will happen if I engage it at speed? Well, I say we accelerate to 50 kilometers an hour and give it a try. I suggest we start with something simple. I have got me this here car. It is a Hyundai Getz. It's a nice little thing, and it has got a regular old mechanical handbrake. You know, of the type where you pull this lever when you got your car parked? And let's see how effective this one is. We've placed a few cones, and the idea is to accelerate to 60 kilometers an hour. In the case of this one, we'll decelerate using its mechanical handbrake, but in the other cars, it's going to be an electronic handbrake. We'll also see how dangerous it is to trip the electronic handbrake at speed. But yeah, let's see how the mechanical handbrake do. And also one that's electronically actuated. Let's go. Okay, let's see how effectively this mechanical handbrake is able to stop the car. 60 Ks. Yeah, I'm having to modulate the handbrake as not to leave a massive bald spot on the tires. You stopped without even touching the brake pedal. Indeed I have, but that is a massive stopping distance. That would be 47.5 meters. A typical figure for your typical sort of car with a traditional handbrake. Okay, so we've established how a regular lever-actuated mechanical handbrake performs, or foot brake, though we don't have any of those around. But now I say we test some electronic handbrakes. I've got me this big old Chinese-made SUV. Let's put it through its paces. Here we go. So the thing with these electronic e-brakes is that some folks, they are nervous about tripping them at speed. I'm one of those people, but here's the thing. When you give this a quick touch, it might so happen that your kids decided to fool around. Anyway, so if you do that, initially you do hear the electronics try and do something, but the car just continues to drive without any loss of speed. Nothing really happens, but that's when you give the switch a quick pull. As for what's going to happen and how this is going to behave at a higher speed, well, let's find out, shall we? Alright, accelerating to 60 kilometers an hour and e-braking. Holy cow! It's been a while since I've felt such G-forces. I was actually seriously worried when the brakes engaged. Yeah, I was quite perturbed. You did notice that after I pulled on it, it took a little while. Yeah, it rolled for a bit and then it was full force. Oh dude, that almost turned me inside out. From where I was standing, I didn't notice any of the wheels locking up. They were making this nice silky sound, and braking performance was super effective. For real? Yeah, I didn't even hear the ABS clicking. Braking performance was just epic. "27 meters, 10 centimeters. All I did was hold the switch, but the car made up its own mind on what to do and it went and came to a stop. Now I've got a different car, an Arizo, and this one is front-wheel drive. Now the handbrake supposedly works with just one axle. Prior to this, my car was all-wheel drive. And if indeed only the rear wheels are braking when using the handbrake, then in theory it must have been quicker to come to a stop. Because it's got all of the all-wheel drive bits, transfer cases and what have you. That would have made all of the wheels decelerate, right? But in the case of a front-wheel drive car, it should just be the rear wheel brakes active when tripping the e-brake. But let's see how this one is going to perform, how it's going to stop. Let's get to it. Oh, holy cow. That was surprising. Yeah, I didn't expect that. Because in this case, the car reacted much quicker. I pulled the switch and It didn't even take a second for some intense braking to occur. The car was tracking straight. Exactly 22 meters. It activated way earlier. I mean, the pause between me pulling the switch and intense braking action, it was much longer in that big thing. But here it started braking as soon as I pulled it. And despite the road being wet, none of the wheels were slipping, nothing like that. Yeah, everything was on point. Nothing was rattling. The brakes just did their thing. So our next guinea pig is this Exceed. Here we go. Accelerate to 60, and this thing is quick. Okay, so this one is also beeping at me. Will you look at that? It makes a noise when it's braking. But performance is the same. There was a big delay, then it started lightly braking, only applying some proper force near the end. I don't know, it could be down to the wet surface, maybe it's just that the car is heavy, or it could have been that delay. Anyway, you could actually see near the end how the ABS was activated. I'd say the handbrake doesn't just engage the rear wheel brakes. I think it activates all four. Everything it has in its arsenal. Yeah, it uses all available resources. Exactly 27. Same result as the first car. Okay, so now I am sat in a Geely Atlas. Let's see how the emergency braking system on this thing works. Here we go. Oh, I am really moving, ain't I? I have to say that was pretty unnerving. Okay, why won't the hazard lights go out now? What's interesting is that I felt as if it were quicker to respond in this one. So that would be 22 meters, 30 centimeters. That is pretty impressive. Yeah, there is definitely more here at play than just the handbrake. Oh, for sure, it is using... Apparently they've programmed this into all of the cars. Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, so it turns out that the electronics on these cars, when you pull on the handbrake switch when you're at speed, they know that you're asking for emergency braking. And the brakes give you everything they've got. And the braking performance is actually very good. Okay, so here's where we're at with this, guys. We are slowly coming to the realization that an electronic handbrake is quite a nifty thing. But to avoid criticism that we're only using Chinese cars here, we've also been lent this one. It is a BMW 5 Series, it's pretty nice. And it has also got an electronic handbrake. And we are about to find out what it's going to do in terms of emergency braking. Okay, that's 60, we got up to speed quickly. I did not like that at all. I'm guessing Vlad is also a bit confused. It took a while for it to stop. It was smooth, but that took a long time. What can I even tell you? It worked, but braking action wasn't as intense as in the case of the Chinese cars. It was braking smoothly. I mean, I don't really get it. You did try it in the Chinese cars, right? Try this one out. It goes like... Really? But in those cars, if you had something lying in the trunk or on the back seat, it is gonna come flying forward. Not so much the case here. 31.5 meters. Oh, holy cow. In those, I was genuinely frightened. Some of those cars were making noises like, you know, that were ABS related, and it sounded as if something were about to break. Like as if the braking was too aggressive. Yeah. Not the case in this one. Yeah, it was very relaxed and mellow. No noise from the ABS? Nope. My guess would be they did that in the name of safety, Because, well, let's say you're driving somewhere on an autobahn in Europe. Those cars would be set up in a way so that, the hazard lights would come on during heavy braking, and in cars that don't have that feature, people would switch the hazards on themselves. Anyway, I guess that in order to prevent any dangerous emergency situations, that's the way the e-brake would be calibrated, to smoothly bring the car to a stop, to allow anybody who's driving behind the car enough time to react. That has to be it. It is worth noting that braking performance wasn't necessarily bad when trying to stop using the e-brake. The car still came to a stop, and that might prove to be really helpful in certain situations. Well, yeah, but the important thing is that you can still control the car. Yeah, and it doesn't scare the crap out of the driver and passengers. Oh yeah, definitely. With that sort of braking, the passengers are gonna go flying forward. Yeah, true. Right towards the glove box. Okay guys, so this is pretty interesting. We were able to work out that if you briefly pull the electronic handbrake switch at speed, nothing's gonna happen. But if you pull and hold it, the car will automatically perform an emergency stop. And it actually works really, really well. So that's something they actually program into cars. Now you can bring a car to a stop using a traditional handbrake. The problem is you're gonna have to be constantly modulating it. Because when it's just the rear wheels braking, they sort of behave unpredictably. The car can veer to the right, to the left. It can spin out, but with an electronic handbrake, the systems keep everything under control. They keep the car stable, and yeah, you guys saw it all for yourselves. And that's actually not it for this video. I have been brought this here car. Apparently it's a regular old passenger car with a mechanical handbrake. And I have been told to knock myself out and try stopping it using the handbrake. I am afraid this might be a setup, but they tell me that the car is perfectly road legal, that everything is good. If everything works, then the results should be pretty good, right? But just in case, I'm gonna say catch you guys later. Okay, that's 60. Really though? Are you guys kidding me?